So anyone that wants to criticize Pereira's reign, they could say that when he fought Ankalaev, someone his own size, with the wrestling style, he lost. Regardless, he's a winner in life. But what do you think about anyone that has that narrative, Paul?
I mean, I think there's some truth to that, right? There's always ups and downs in divisions where that particular amount of years, there's just a million savages and a ton of contenders lining up. And clearly that's not the case, right? We're kind of going through the roster to find the next guy. And he came from 85 and kind of just swung himself right into the picture and took over, right? And, you know, back when like DC and Jones were both fighting in that division, that would not have happened.
Rashad Evans.
Anthony Rumble Johnson, like a million dudes.
Glover Teixeira in his prime.
Monsters. And I agree that they're kind of searching for some strength and schedule for that division. And it's not to say that these guys aren't amazing fighters, but it's just the level of absolute could be the next champion, where sometimes you look at a division and you're like, holy shit, on any given day, this top 8 to top 10 could be, on a good night, it could just keep changing hands, and you'll see that from time to time. And then usually on top of that division, you'll have a monster that can still beat those guys, like a Jones, like a Habib, who could probably be there for a while if they wanted to. And yeah, I agree that but again, it doesn't matter, dude. You know how hard it is to obtain that belt in any division at that level, and to defend it and to do it in the time span that he also was able to do it. You've got to give a ton of respect for that. And that's why I think we all love him so much. The fact that that dude is willing to defend his belt, I forget what it was, like 3 or 4 times in a span of just over a year or something like that. That's incredible.
He broke records. Ronda Rousey held the record before. He broke that. And that's a great point, because anyone can talk all the shit they want and say that wasn't the greatest era of light heavyweights. And I agree. It wasn't. But so what? They're the only people that he can beat. But some people might become champion, and then all of a sudden they don't want to fight very frequently. He was willing to put it on the line every other week. He'll take it short notice. He'll fly back from Australia. He'll take it injured. He was willing to do that. So you can't disrespect the man's approach, the balls that he has, the excitement, the performances, all of that stuff. The man is an incredible champion. He's a winner in life. The question is, Paul, immediate rematch in your opinion, or no?
Yeah, I think so. And I think so because kind of what we're talking about, right? Where does anybody really like, oh my God, they 100% deserve that shot before he would get that shot? And he did, whether you think they were the strongest competition or not, they are the guys that are in line, and he put them away, and he did it multiple times in a small amount of time. I think he deserves a chance to try to crack that safe again and try to figure that puzzle out, because he didn't have a great night. And I don't think it was because of him, unless he says something was up, but I think it was just because Ankalaev was the better guy that night. But I think after the run that he's had, I think he deserves the next shot. And I kind of want to see what he would do a second time around. Will he be more aggressive? Will he stand his ground a lot more like you talked about? I think there's a lot of things that still could be answered. I don't know if it's going to get the hype that it got this time around, because we were very hyped for that fight, and then it just kind of wasn't really that fight. So I'd still want to see that before I'd see any of the other fights.
Also, you got to think, and this is not making an excuse for Pereira or excusing my incorrect pick. I saw a lot of people talking shit on me online you were wrong in your prediction. It's like, it's an educated guess, dick.
Yeah, it is. Come on, man.
It's a guess. It's not.
You're either going to look great or you're going to be wrong. I mean, that's
like, you were wrong. This is why I never follow your picks. Well, fuck off.
Then
How about
that? Don't pick against me. Take the opposite of what I say. I feel like my brother does that. My brother asked me, who do I think is going to win? And I'm almost positive. I'm going to reach out to him today. I'll bet he bet Ankalaev, because I told him I think Pereira is going to win. They do. My brothers do that to me all the time. They're like, oh, my brother's literally a commentator, and half the time he gives me a pick. It's wrong. It's like, I'm good at talking about fighting and figuring things out and doing it myself. Doesn't mean I have a magical ball and can tell you who's going to win. These guys are all elite. More often than not, it can go any way.
Well, we can't bet on fights legally. And nobody involved with the UFC can. But that is why I never bet on fights anyway. One, I'm not a gambler. I'll play a little roulette and blackjack here and there, but I'm not a gambler per se. But I never bet on fights because I know firsthand it doesn't matter. You want to put a load of money on one guy, there's no guarantees in this game. Simple as that. Now, what I was going to say was the strength of schedule, though, Paul, that he was on, was Pereira maybe a little burned out? Perhaps, maybe that's why he was a little flat, because 5 training camps in a very short space of time, 5 fights, and then all the other distractions that come with being a megastar, maybe he was burned out. So maybe he comes back better, but that remains to be seen.
That remains to be seen, and that is a damn good point, because I don't care how big of a megastar you are. When you're traveling around and you're going to Australia and you're cornering people and you're training at different gyms and you're hopping on these big international flights and you've done it time and time again, and then fight weeks and all the things that are involved in that, you do burn out. And I'm not saying, again, same as you, it's not an excuse. I'm not putting it out there for anybody, but you could feel that a little bit. He just felt a little bit not himself in there that night. And I don't know if he was himself and he had more time off, if it had gone any differently, but that was still something to consider and a factor in that. And I think if he has some time off, go chill with your family, man. Go shama it up a little bit, get that shama back. I think it'd be a much more exciting fight either way. I don't think he would fight like that again if they had a rematch.
He's got to bring back the shama, though. The thumbnail on this, the title of this thumbnail was "Where was the shama?" It wasn't there. Shama? There was no shama. Okay.
No.
I will say this, Paul. Blue steel on that thumbnail. Holy shit.
Come on. Dude. There's a reason that I'm on a hit TV show called Hacks in season 4, right? It's not because I'm an MMA fighter. It's not because, I never got knocked out. It's because I got some sharp blue eyes out there, Michael. That's the only reason.
Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back too with visibly thicker and fuller hair. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/believe.